it was his lifestyle that I was scared of.
That's not true
Of her
either.
letting him
That's
leave
not
with
true
him
either.
and something happening to my child.
But you weren't together
But I
technically.
had my doubts. Keep in mind.
You had your doubts, so you posted this picture. Now I'm trying to understand the picture you presented to me was a picture she posted.
Imagine surviving a near-death experience, getting shot 6 times, and the only thing on your mind afterward is, wait, is that baby really mine? That's the situation Mr. Sensabaugh found himself in. He and his mother, Ms. Montoya, dragged Ms. Brown to court, tired of her constant lies about whether he fathered her little girl. But today, with DNA results looming, the stakes have never been higher.
Ms. Montoya, you and your son, Mr. Sensabaugh, claim you've been lied to by the defendant about the paternity of her child on numerous occasions.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right away, Ms. Brown admits she lied about the paternity. Bold move, sis. She says she hopes the results will clear things up, but you can tell nobody believes her anymore. Judge Lake asks about the breakup, and Ms. Brown fires back, claiming Gregory was a mama's boy. I mean, look at his face when she says that. You could cut that tension with a knife.
I didn't know that Gregory was such a mother's boy and that I was dealing with his mother.
How am I a mother's boy?
I would be dealing with his mother more than him. I didn't lay with her, I laid with him.
Ms. Brown insists she had an apartment all lined up for them, but Gregory just ghosted, straight up no-showed at the leasing office. Imagine being left holding the lease papers while your man's MIA. Judge Lake is stunned, but Gregory's not having it. He swears she was still sneaking around with her ex. Talk about messy.
Ready for us to sign the paperwork. He was supposed to show up the day of us seeing the apartment and giving the money and signing the paperwork. He never showed up.
Then comes the infamous calendar. Yes, Ms. Brown literally brought a color-coded calendar of who she slept with and when. Green for Gregory, blue for the ex, red for traveling. Who does that? I mean, she came with receipts, just not the good kind. Even Judge Lake couldn't help raising an eyebrow at that rainbow of questionable choices.
At some point, you almost end up with another guy.
Yes, ma'am. And
What happened?
when I had left California, I went to Oklahoma with my ex.
Ms. Montoya calls her out right there. She says Ms. Brown even lied about how she traveled, claiming she flew when she actually drove. The whole courtroom is side-eyeing at this point, and Montoya, with that mom energy, cuts through the nonsense. You just wanted to wait and see who the baby looked like before picking a daddy. Oof.
So yeah, that doubt.
But even looking at this calendar, it lets me know that she even lied about something else because I was told she took a plane to Oklahoma, and then when she got off the plane, she was throwing up.
Gregory jumps in, getting heated. He says Ms. Brown cared more about men's feelings than her baby's future. He recalls how she swore up and down that he was the father and he was ready to step up without even a DNA test. That's commitment. But then Ms. Brown hits back saying she didn't trust his lifestyle. Whew, the shade is real.
Mr. Sensabaugh, when you heard about the pregnancy, did she say you were the father or you may be the father?
She was for sure that I was the father. She was for sure I was the father.
Then comes the heartbreaker. Ms. Montoya explains why the truth matters so much. Her son's been through not 1, but 2 near-death experiences. Shot multiple times, left fighting for his life. She breaks down, saying she just wants the truth before it's too late. I mean, can someone pass the tissues?
My son has had 2 different separate near-death experiences.
He has.
So does he have to die for the truth to
What
come out?
happened?
He's been shot.
And that's the lifestyle that I didn't want to let my daughter leave.
Gregory himself testifies, describing being shot 6 times, including in the head. He admits after that, all he could think about was the baby, whether she was his daughter, whether he was missing out on her life. His vulnerability here is heartbreaking. You can feel the weight of his words.
I almost lost my life. I got shot 6 times. I got shot in the head, in the arm, in the back, in the butt. I got shot. So after that, it made me think like, what if the baby was mine?
Then comes the Facebook drama. Ms. Montoya says she first saw the baby's photo online because Ms. Brown went ghost for months. Imagine finding out you might have a granddaughter through social media. Ms. Brown insists she never flat out said Gregory was the dad, just that it was a possibility. Cue the collective eye roll.
Was you calling him to tell him that the baby was his? After that, I didn't speak to you or hear about nothing about this baby for a month until I got on Facebook.
The emotions boil over when Ms. Montoya gets choked up, saying she just wants the truth. She mentions her 91-year-old grandmother wants to be part of the baby's life if she's family. That's 4 generations waiting for answers, folks. Talk about high stakes.
Why are you so emotional, Miss Montoya? What are you feeling?
I don't know. I don't know what to feel. I just want the truth to come out.
Like, and another reason is because the baby looked like it favors me.
But wait, it gets messier. Ms. Montoya lays out what she calls the timeline of lies. Apparently, Ms. Brown agreed to a home DNA test, swabbed, and then sat on it for months. Then, when she finally mailed it in, the results came back 0%. Later, she admitted she may have swabbed the wrong child on purpose. What?
The timeline of lies is week 1. I purchased the DNA test, to which she agreed to take. I honestly believed that she would go forth with doing it and there wouldn't be no problem. But I ended up waiting 8 weeks, 2 months for her to send it in.
Even Judge Lake can't believe it. She turns to Miss Brown and asks, "Why all the lies?" Ms. Brown shrugs, saying she should have been dealing with Gregory directly, not his mother. Gregory calls her out for blocking him from the baby, while Montoya insists she couldn't let it go. Honestly, the family drama here is off the charts.
Miss Brown, that was a lot of lies.
It was.
Most of which you admitted to. Why so many lies?
Because the whole time I was dealing with her, I should have been dealing with him, and that's how I felt personally.
Then Gregory drops another bomb. Ms. Brown didn't want him posting pictures of the baby online because she told her ex the baby might be his. So she was juggling multiple stories with multiple men. Folks, this isn't just paternity court, it's a full-blown soap opera.
She was sending pictures, okay, I'm posting them on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, like this is my baby, like you like this, like it's my baby, like showing everybody. So she called me like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
And here it is, cue the drum roll. Judge Lake reads the DNA results. Everyone leans forward. After all the lies, the chaos, and the near-death heartbreak, the truth is revealed. Gregory is not the father. Ms. Brown looks relieved. Gregory looks oddly calm, and Ms. Montoya looks crushed. 4 generations worth of hope, gone in a second.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Sensabaugh, you are not her father.
Gregory admits he feels relief, because at least now he knows the truth. Judge Lake gives him some tough love, urging him to change his lifestyle so his life isn't cut short. The final image? Gregory breathing easier, Ms. Brown looking smug, and Ms. Montoya holding back tears. Heartbreaking stuff.
I really want him to go on with his life, get married, have a baby, and be able to be in that baby's life from birth.
And I wish the best for him and his future.
How do you feel, Mr. Sensabaugh?
Honestly, I feel relief. I got the truth.
Imagine letting your buddy crash at your place, thinking you're helping out a friend, only to find out he might have been helping himself to your girlfriend. That's the nightmare Mr. Wiseman walked into. He says his generosity backfired big time when his so-called friend, Mr. New, slept with Miss Duncan. Now 2-year-old Brett's paternity is in question, and Judge Lake's courtroom is about to be the stage for betrayal, heartbreak, and one messy love triangle.
Mr. Wiseman, you say the defendant was a good friend of yours and you let him move into your home. You claim he repaid your generosity by sleeping with your girlfriend.
Judge Lake wastes no time cutting through the tension. She explains that Brett could belong to either Mr. Wiseman or Mr. New, and right off the bat, Mr. New claims he only started messing around with Ms. Duncan after she confided that Wiseman wasn't treating her right. But here's the kicker. He wouldn't even let her show up in court because she's pregnant again, this time with his new child. Bold doesn't even begin to cover it, folks.
Mr. New, you claim when you first moved in, your relationship with Mr. Wiseman's girlfriend was strictly a friendship.
Yes.
You argue it only became sexual when she confided Mr. Wiseman was not treating her right.
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman explains how he found out about the affair, and honestly, it's brutal. Ms. Duncan's own family told him she and Mr. New were doing stuff together. Can you imagine? You're living under one roof with this guy, thinking he's your friend, while your girlfriend is sneaking around behind your back, and then you hear it straight from the family grapevine. Talk about betrayal served cold, and messy enough to make Judge Lake raise an eyebrow.
So, Mr. Wiseman,
Yes, Your Honor.
how did you even find out Mr. New had slept with your girlfriend?
The accusations start flying fast. Wiseman accuses them of being way too close, recalling how they'd be hugging and playing outside while he was around. Mr. New claps back, saying Wiseman was the real cheater and Ms. Duncan was just tired of it. The insults get nasty, the volume rises, and suddenly Judge Lake has to step in, demanding Jerome stand between them before things go from courtroom drama to actual courtroom brawl.
And they'd be sitting there, like, for instance, with a water hose, all sitting there getting each other wet, all hugged up. And then when I would walk up,
Your Honor,
Amanda would walk away.
Judge Lake sternly tells Mr. New to watch his language, but that doesn't stop him from tossing more jabs. He insists Ms. Duncan only turned to him because Wiseman was constantly stepping out. Meanwhile, Wiseman doubles down, claiming Ms. Duncan has always been unfaithful. The courtroom feels like a high school cafeteria argument, except the stakes are way higher. I mean, these men aren't just fighting over a woman, they're fighting over who fathered a child.
When we first slept together, he was, I don't know how to say it without cussing, so.
You don't know how to say it without cursing?
No, he was a.
Somebody she was still sleeping with at the same time.
Finally, Ms. Duncan joins via video link, and her honesty is jaw-dropping. She admits she slept with both men during the time of conception, admits it was unprotected, and admits she told Wiseman first when she learned she was pregnant. The whole room is stunned. Girl, did you just say all that so casually? Ms. Duncan really sat there confessing like she was reading a grocery list. The tension shifts from anger to full-on shock.
And we understand. And you have two men here who are potentially the father of your child. Can you please explain to the court the circumstances?
Wiseman admits he had doubts, but says Duncan reassured him he was the father. He even signed the birth certificate and supported her through the pregnancy. But Mr. New can't resist interrupting, pointing out that Duncan eventually dumped Wiseman for him. The back and forth is so messy, it feels like an episode of Jerry Springer collided with paternity court. You can practically see Judge Lake trying to hold it all together while the men keep circling each other.
Mr. Wiseman, when she told you she was pregnant, did you immediately think it was your child?
I mean, I definitely was happy, but I had doubts, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, our relationship, you know, then when I found out about him. So, yeah, I definitely had doubts.
The arguments spiral out of control again. Wiseman says Brett is his. New swears he's the one who's really been there. And they both start shouting about who buys clothes, who spends time, and who acts like a real dad. It's petty, it's loud, and it's absolutely chaotic. Judge Lake raises her voice just to cut through their yelling. And honestly, you can feel her patience running thinner by the second. Drama overload, plain and simple.
She just plays both parts. She keeps me there and him there. That's all she does. I mean, she's always
I was there every day. I know what happened.
Yeah, and he was just a friend.
I'm there every day now supporting your kids, bro.
Okay, no, you ain't.
Things get even more confusing when Wiseman admits that after Brett was born, Duncan told him New might be the father. But in the same breath, she insists Brett looks just like Wiseman. The contradictions are endless. One second she's pointing to Wiseman, the next second she's pointing to New, and all the while, everyone in the room is left shaking their heads. This case isn't just messy, it's like watching a soap opera in real life.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's just a possibility, you know, when you get told that there's a possibility that it ain't yours, I mean, what can you do?
So you've been told that there is a possibility this child is not yours?
Yeah.
Just when you think it couldn't get messier, in comes Ms. Prater, Duncan's sister, as a witness. And let me tell you, she's not holding back. She admits she told Wiseman herself that Duncan and New were sleeping together. Then she adds that if Wiseman is the father, he needs to step up financially because New has been doing all the heavy lifting. You can almost see Wiseman's jaw clenching as his ex's own sister puts him on blast.
Mr. New, you brought a witness. I'd like to hear from her. Please stand, ma'am. State your name.
Prater.
Ms. Prater, you are Mr. New. What relationship are you to Mr. New?
The courtroom turns into pure chaos again, this time over cars, jobs, and gas money. Yes, gas money. Wiseman and New are shouting over who drove where, who had a car, and who really provided for the baby. It's like they forgot this is about a child and not who's winning in the who's more broke Olympics. Judge Lake tries to rein them in, but honestly, at this point, it feels like she needs a referee whistle.
Sleep somewhere.
And of course,
crying probably.
Of course,
with a
if
pillow in between
you're
your
going
legs.
to be with my mother and my child, of course, I mean he's going to be around them more than I can be, because I mean I can only get him.
Judge Lake finally cuts through the noise with a legal twist. Wiseman signed the birth certificate, so legally he's the father. But New has been the one actually supporting Brett day to day. Ms. Duncan shrugs and says, "Everything happens for a reason." Girl, no. Everything happened because you slept with two roommates at the same time. This isn't destiny. It's poor decision making with lifelong consequences. Even Judge Lake looks like she's struggling to stay composed.
What's interesting is legally, Mr. Wiseman is the father because he signed the birth certificate. And yet, Mr. New is the person taking care of.
At long last, Judge Lake announces it's time for the DNA results, and everyone freezes. The energy in the room is so tense you could hear a pin drop. After all the arguments, insults, and finger-pointing, the moment of truth finally arrives. The results reveal that the biological father of 2-year-old Brett Wiseman is Mr. Wiseman. The look on his face is pure vindication, while New's face screams frustration and disbelief.
It has been determined that the biological father is Mr. Wiseman.
Betty don't do nothing about it.
Judge Lake doesn't let anyone off easy, though. She tells Wiseman he has no excuses left. Now that he knows Brett is his, he needs to step up. She tells Ms. Duncan flat out that she made this mess and she better start cleaning it up. And she tells Mr. New to stop waving a self-righteous flag. The final scene is the perfect mix of relief, bitterness, and Judge Lake laying down the law like only she can.
Sometimes it's just okay to do the right thing and just say, I did it because I wanted to do it for the child.
I did.
You don't have to make everybody else feel so badly about it that now they don't even want to come forth. It's obvious Mr. Wiseman has not stepped up to the plate the way he needed to.
Imagine showing up at your own mother's funeral, grieving and trying to hold it together, only to have a strange man wrap his arms around you and claim, out of nowhere, that he's your real father. That's exactly what happened to Elizabeth Johnson. And let me tell you, nothing says drama overload quite like a funeral surprise paternity claim. In today's case, Elizabeth and her sister Melinda are here to finally get answers about their biological father.
Ms. Johnson and Mrs. Davis, you are here in court today to finally find out if the defendant is your biological father.
Elizabeth recalls how stunned she was, saying she thought Roger Johnson was her dad all her life. But here's this random man at the funeral whispering fatherly nonsense. And the real kicker? Their mother had apparently gone back and forth for years, sometimes saying Mr. Johnson was the dad, other times pointing to someone else. Honestly, it sounds like she was treating paternity like a game of musical chairs, and the kids were stuck without a seat.
At the time, I haven't seen my mother in 4 years. I was at work, and that's how I found out that my mother had passed away. Now, the day of the funeral, when I had walked in,
Mr. Johnson admits he always had his doubts. He says their mom outright told him she cheated, and one time he even caught her at another man's apartment. But despite that, he stepped up. He raised the girls on his own after their mother signed away her parental rights in a divorce. I mean, that's a major plot twist. He raised them as a single dad, but the doubts were always hanging over him like storm clouds.
You knew this man already?
yes, Your Honor.
So you grew up knowing this is just a friend of your family?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then he announces he's your father.
Yes, Your Honor. Him and my mother, when she was alive, told me.
Melinda chimes in with her own memory. She recalls being a little girl in the front seat of her mom's car when her mother pointed at a man working at a car lot and said, "This is her." Years later, she realized her mom might have been saying that man could be her father. Can you imagine carrying around a childhood memory like that? I mean, this woman was basically planting paternity seeds all over town like it was gardening season.
How about you, Miss Davis? Did you ever hear anyone tell you before this incident at the funeral that someone else could be your biological father?
Mr. Johnson pulls out divorce papers to back up his story, proving the mother gave up parental rights. He explains how he had to play both mom and dad, teaching them life lessons, using his skills as a tattoo artist to draw diagrams and explain things. Honestly, it's heartbreaking, but also kind of adorable. He really did the best he could, stepping up when their mother wouldn't, and you can see the daughters getting emotional remembering his sacrifices.
That's my divorce papers.
So this is a final judgment of divorce.
Yes, Your Honor.
It says the defendant, which was your mother at the time, will not pay any child support.
But it gets even sadder. Mr. Johnson admits he sometimes had to pay their mother just so the girls could see her. Imagine that. You're the full-time parent, raising them alone, and you have to hand over cash just to let them have mother-daughter time. Judge Lake looks floored. And the daughters? You can tell they're processing just how much their father really did to keep their family connected, even when it broke his heart.
I love my first wife. That was the mother of my children. But you know, and my children know, I used to pay their mother to see them. And when I said that I wasn't going to pay her,
You used to have to pay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lake asks if the daughters resemble him, and here's where it stings. Mr. Johnson says Elizabeth favors him, but Melinda, not so much. He admits she resembles the other potential father. Ouch. Melinda even recalls being introduced as a child to a boy who was supposedly her half-brother. That memory shook her. It's like her mother was dropping cryptic hints about her paternity that only made sense years later. The confusion is honestly heartbreaking.
Now, as you look at these girls, do you see yourself in them? Do they look like you? I know physical attributes aren't everything.
Then comes another emotional layer. Elizabeth and Melinda's brother, Roger Jr., walks into the courtroom. He says he loves his sisters, but he too sees the resemblance issue. He believes Elizabeth looks like their father, but Melinda doesn't. The tension in the courtroom thickens as you can see Melinda fighting back tears. This isn't just about paternity. It's about belonging, identity, and years of feeling like the odd one out in her own family.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, we're here with your sisters and also your dad, talking about the issues regarding...
Melinda opens up about her struggles, admitting there was a time she denied Mr. Johnson as her father. She even let another man walk her down the aisle at her wedding without inviting him. You can hear the pain in his voice as he explains how devastating that was. Every father dreams of that moment with his daughter, and to be cut out like that, it was like a dagger to the heart. This is heartbreaking stuff right here.
There was so much confusion.
I was young, I was rebellious. I was going through a period of time to where I said some very negative things towards my father.
In a raw, emotional turn, Melinda breaks down and asks for forgiveness, admitting she hurt her father deeply but didn't know how to handle the confusion. Mr. Johnson, holding back tears, says he forgives her. He explains that regardless of DNA, he'll always be her father. And then he drops another truth bomb. Her children have medical issues, and knowing the truth could be crucial for their health. Suddenly, the stakes get even higher.
When I had married my husband, it was a total awkwardness between me and him with my father because he did not accept my husband.
Finally, Judge Lake declares it's time for the truth. Jerome hands over the results, and the entire family holds their breath. This isn't just one DNA test, it's 3 separate ones. First, Elizabeth's test reveals Roger Johnson is her biological father. Relief washes over her face. Next, Roger Jr. is confirmed as his son too. At this point, everyone is hanging on by a thread waiting for Melinda's fate.
And as to whether Roger Johnson Sr. is his biological father, Mr. Johnson Sr., you are his father.
And here it is, the big one. Melinda's results are read aloud, and the court erupts with emotion. Roger Johnson is her biological father. Years of doubt, whispers, and painful memories are shattered in an instant. The tears start flowing, happy tears this time. Even Mr. Johnson, who once doubted, looks overcome with relief and apologizes for ever questioning it. This is the kind of ending that makes your heart swell.
Roger Johnson Sr. is her biological father. Mr. Johnson Sr., you are her father.
The daughters express how this finally brings closure. Elizabeth says she's glad it happened now before they lost their last parent, and Melinda hopes they can move forward stronger as a family. Judge Lake calls it exactly what it is, healing. And for once in this courtroom, we don't end with heartbreak, but with hugs, tears, and the start of a new chapter for a family that's been through it all.
I'm so very happy for all of you. This is why we do this every day, right, Jerome? Every day.
Thank you.
It's to reconnect family. I wish you all the very best of luck.
This case opens with a bombshell. Ms. Cavanaugh and her mom are here to prove the paternity of her 3-week-old baby, Malcolm. She claims Mr. Bowles is the father, even though she admits she also slept with another man, Mr. McElliott, during the same window of conception. Already, the tension is high, because Mr. Bowles has never even met Malcolm, but is absolutely convinced he's not the dad. That's the setup, and trust me, it only gets wilder from here.
Ms. Cavanaugh, you and your mother are appearing in court today to prove paternity of your 3-week-old son, Malcolm. You claim his biological father is Mr. Bowles.
Ms. Cavanaugh tries to explain why she believes Bowles is the father. She says they had unprotected sex frequently, even though they weren't in a committed relationship. Her mother jumps in as her backup, saying she knows the whole story because her daughter tells her everything. Bowles rolls his eyes, unconvinced. He's so certain Malcolm isn't his son that he says he probably didn't even know the baby's name until today. That confidence is bold, maybe a little too bold.
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Bowles is my son's father. Even though we wasn't in a committed relationship, relationship. We had unprotected sex frequently, and he has not been around. He doesn't ask about my son. He probably didn't even know my son's name was Malcolm until now.
Bowles insists he has receipts for his doubt. He recalls finding an open condom wrapper at Ms. Cavanaugh's place and swears she told him it was from her ex. Ms. Cavanaugh denies it, claiming it belonged to a co-worker and her boyfriend who spent the night. This back and forth is classic paternity court, her trying to explain away the evidence while he stands firm, basically saying, "See, this is why I know the kid ain't mine."
She said she used it. She said it was with her ex.
I feel like, Your Honor, that he is just trying to justify the reason why he believes he is not the father.
But did you tell him that you used that condom with your ex? So that's not true.
No.
Then Judge Lake gets to the pregnancy reveal. Ms. Cavanaugh admits she told Bowles first when she found out she was expecting, but here's the twist. She also admits she deliberately slept with McElliott to make Bowles jealous. Yup, she thought that by proving another man wanted her, Bowles would magically want her more. Talk about messy. Even she admits it was childish and immature, but the damage was already done. Can someone say drama overload?
Your Honor, I told him. I told Mr. Bowles because that's who I believed was the father. It was the right date, right conception time. But I did have one sexual encounter with Mr. McElliott, and it was only because I wanted to be in a serious relationship with Mr. Bowles.
But the biggest curveball? Before she even got pregnant for real, Ms. Cavanaugh faked a pregnancy test. She confesses she actually planned to crack open 2 negatives and glue them together to make a positive test to trap Bowles. But in a crazy twist of fate, when she actually took 2 real tests, they both came back positive. Even Judge Lake's jaw dropped at that one. Imagine faking a pregnancy only to end up truly pregnant for real.
That is true. The way that I found out that I was truly pregnant with my son is because I was very childish when I was talking to Mr. Bowles. Like, I really cared about him, and I desperately wanted him to care about me because we were with each other basically every other night, if not every night.
Ms. Cavanaugh gets emotional admitting how young and naive she was. She says she wanted Bowles to care about her so badly that she pulled desperate moves. But now she insists she stepped up as a mother and learned the responsibility that comes with raising a child. Her mother beams with pride, but Bowles still isn't buying it. He says when she told him about the pregnancy, he didn't even believe her at first. Can you blame him?
Yeah, it was very shocking. Like, when I was pretending to be pregnant or trying to be pregnant, I don't think I understand fully the responsibility that I do now.
Bowles explains further. He says even after he started believing the pregnancy, he doubted her loyalty. He claims she was seeing more than just him and McElliott, hinting at multiple other men. And to add fuel to the fire, he remembers a time when he fell asleep at her place, only to wake up at 3 a.m. to Bowles announcing he was leaving to sleep with another woman. Ms. Cavanaugh says that disrespect cut her deeply, especially since she might have been carrying his child.
I just don't understand his reasoning. Like, he was acting like he was the father, but when I told him I wanted to be in a committed relationship, I said I don't want to have sex until we are in a committed relationship. I was just tired of it. I was done. I didn't want him to disrespect me anymore.
Judge Lake presses her hard, asking whether she wants Bowles to be the father just because she still has feelings for him, or because she truly believes it. Ms. Cavanaugh admits it's both. Yes, she has feelings, but she also thinks the dates line up. But then she shocks everyone again by revealing McElliott once offered to sign the birth certificate regardless of biology. He was ready to step up just because he cared. Meanwhile, Bowles just looks stone cold.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Like, I do still kind of have feelings for Mr. Bowles, and I don't really know why. With Mr. McElliott, he actually told me he didn't want to do a DNA test, and he would actually sign the birth certificate.
When McElliott walks into the courtroom, the atmosphere shifts. Unlike Bowles, he's respectful and soft-spoken. He explains that he courted Ms. Cavanaugh, took her on dates, and actually treated her well. He even says she once claimed the ultrasound picture of baby Malcolm resembled his mother. The whole courtroom can't help but chuckle, because who sees family resemblances in a fuzzy ultrasound picture? Still, his sincerity makes him look like dad material compared to Bowles' dismissive attitude.
State your name for the court.
Philip McElliott.
Mr. McElliott, thank you for joining us today. Please describe your relationship with Ms. Cavanaugh.
My relationship with Ms. Cavanaugh, I would say, is a very special one.
But then, another twist. Ms. Cavanaugh admits there might be a third man. She calls it a drunken one-night stand and admits she doesn't even remember if protection was used. Judge Lake practically loses it at this point, giving the courtroom one of her classic lectures. She explains why women can't just compare themselves to men running around. When women sleep with multiple men during conception windows, it leaves children in limbo, and Judge Lake was not about sugarcoating that reality.
But I believe there was a third party or something that was included in this.
Yes.
Okay.
That's true, Your Honor.
Oh, nah, it's true.
That's true, Your
A
Honor.
third party?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please elaborate on the third party.
The tension heats up between Ms. Cavanaugh's mother and Bowles. Her mom insists Bowles owes an apology for being absent, while Bowles fires back that he never had reason to believe the baby was his. Judge Lake steps in, clarifying that this is less about pointing fingers and more about accountability. She reminds everyone that Malcolm deserves answers, and no matter what, somebody needs to step up as his father. This courtroom feels like it's about to explode with drama.
So yeah, we can run around and sleep with whomever we want to sleep with. But when it's time for the consequence, when you slept with more than one person, you set them in limbo.
Finally, it's time for the results. Jerome delivers the envelope, and the entire room braces for impact. Judge Lake reads first that McElliott is not the father. Ms. Cavanaugh's mother looks stunned, and Ms. Cavanaugh bites her lip nervously. Next, the results reveal Bowles is also not the father. The courtroom gasps, both men eliminated. The real father is that mysterious third man, the drunken one-night stand. Talk about a paternity bombshell.
Is the father of 3-week-old Malcolm Cavanaugh. Mr. McElliott, you are not his father.
Ms. Cavanaugh breaks down apologizing, saying she's sorry for dragging both men through this drama. Judge Lake tells her she must find Malcolm's true biological father because the child deserves answers. And then Judge Lake delivers her final blow to Bowles, saying she's actually relieved he wasn't the father because he clearly wasn't ready for the responsibility. The episode ends on a heartbreaking note. No father found, just tears, regret, and one very important life lesson.
It's important for Malcolm, okay? Young men, you all gotta button it up. Now, Mr. McElliott, I'm not really talking to you as much as I am speaking to Mr. Bowles. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I was hoping.
This episode kicks off with a bang. Ms. Matthews is in court, determined to prove that Mr. Moore is the biological father of her 3-year-old daughter, Zaya. But it's not that simple. Mr. Moore claims Matthews was having an affair during the time of conception and waited months to even tell him she was pregnant. To make things messier, he's suing for $285 in damages for a broken car window he says she destroyed in a jealous rage.
Ms. Matthews, you admit to having an extremely complicated relationship with the defendant, Mr. Moore. Now you say you're here today to prove that he is your 3-year-old daughter Zanaya's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lake gets straight to the heart of it, asking how the doubts have impacted his bond with the child. Moore admits there's no bond at all. He deliberately kept his distance until the truth came out. Matthews tries to defend herself, saying complications in her pregnancy kept her from sharing the news right away. But Moore doesn't buy it. He insists she was hiding the truth because she wasn't sure if the baby was even his.
How has the doubt about little Zanaya's paternity affected your connection to her?
Extremely. There's no contact. I made sure that it wasn't going to be any contact till I found out for certain.
Things escalate quickly when Moore produces evidence. Photos of Matthews kissing another man during the time they were supposedly together. Turns out he found them on her Instagram. Matthews admits to it, but claims it was all sparked by jealousy. She even confesses to busting out Moore's car window in a fit of rage after he posted his own picture kissing another woman. Judge Lake has to stop and piece this story together because it's spiraling into pure chaos.
Her uploading pictures with the guy who was presumably, he could be the dad.
Okay, Jerome, let me see that evidence Mr. Moore is presenting. So let me understand this. You say this is Ms. Matthews kissing another man.
Yeah.
Matthews doubles down, saying yes, she busted the window, and no, she doesn't regret it. She even jokes she should have hit the side window too. I mean, that's confidence. Moore looks exasperated, insisting he had to deal with police escorts and suspension drama because of her behavior. Judge Lake is trying to stay calm, but it's hard not to laugh when Matthews says she politely put on tennis shoes and jogging pants before marching over with a brick.
Your child, she was having the baby, you thought it was yours.
Absolutely. But we weren't together at the time.
But you weren't together
but
technically.
I had my doubt.
The accusations don't stop there. Matthews accuses Moore of paying women for sex, partying nonstop, and even waking up drunk in an alley one night. Moore throws it right back, saying she's known all over the neighborhood for lying about pregnancies and sleeping around. The insults keep flying, and the courtroom feels like it's about to combust. Judge Lake is desperately trying to keep this circus under control, but neither side is willing to back down.
You have serious doubts as it relates to the paternity of Zanaya.
Absolutely. I love Zanaya. Believe
You
the
didn't do
Fanique,
anything.
nothing's good enough.
Just when things couldn't get wilder, Moore's niece, Ms. Thomas, takes the stand, and she comes loaded with shade. She claims Matthews has a reputation in the neighborhood for lying about pregnancies and says everyone laughed when Moore started dating her. Then she drops the bombshell. Little Zaya supposedly calls 3 other men in the neighborhood daddy. Judge Lake's eyes go wide and even the audience gasps. Talk about messy. This is drama overload.
Is the father of Miss Matthews' child?
Because Miss Matthews, she gets around. The whole hood knows her. It's nothing new. When he told me he started dating her and she was pregnant, I just started laughing because, like, you don't know how many other dudes she done told this to before.
Matthews fights back, denying that her daughter calls anyone else daddy. She insists the only men Zaya calls that are her grandfathers. But Moore sides with his niece, claiming he's seen too much suspicious activity at her house, including men coming and going late at night. Matthews shouts back, that's impossible. She works 7 days a week and sacrifices everything for her child. The back and forth is pure chaos, and Judge Lake has to cut them off again.
That just sounds ridiculous.
Wait, Miss Matthews, hold on, Miss Matthews. Is that true? Does Zanaya call anyone else daddy?
The conversation turns to the birth certificate, and here comes another twist. Matthews admits she left the father's name blank. She says Moore didn't even show up to the hospital to sign it, while he insists he did stop by briefly but didn't stay because of the rumors swirling around. Either way, the paperwork is missing a dad's name, and that silence speaks volumes about the uncertainty that's defined this entire situation since day one.
Who signed the birth certificate?
My name is on the birth certificate. It's right here, Your Honor, if you'd like to see it.
Please. Jerome, will you hand me the birth certificate? So you've handed me a copy of Zanaya's birth certificate, and listed under mother's name is, of course, your name.
Yes.
And father's name is
Question
blank.
mark, nothing. Yes, blank.
Judge Lake asks Matthews what she really feels in her heart, and she breaks down. She says she's disappointed, not just in the relationship, but in how her daughter has been dragged into the mess. Moore tries to keep his composure, saying he has his whole life ahead of him and doesn't want to be stuck raising someone else's child. You can feel the tension, both of them digging into their sides while a beautiful little girl's future hangs in the balance.
I know, she do got love for her daughter. I'm not trying to say she's a bad parent. I'm here for one thing and one thing only. I need to find out if I'm her father. You know?
Miss Matthews,
Because
is there
if not,
any reason Mr. Moore would have to doubt?
The insults pick back up again, with Matthews accusing Moore of being a drunk who only knows how to party, and Moore shooting back that she disappears and ignores his calls whenever it's convenient. Judge Lake has heard enough. She reminds them that this isn't about their petty arguments. It's about Zaya, who is now 3 years old and starting to ask questions about her father. The room gets quiet for a moment as the gravity sinks in.
If it weren't for Zanaya, I probably would be about done with it. Because it's a little bit too much silliness and back and forth and talk, just too much.
Then Judge Lake zeroes in on the evidence. Matthews produces pictures of Moore as a child alongside Zaya, insisting the resemblance is undeniable. She points to the lashes and thin build, saying the similarities are crystal clear. Moore shrugs, saying some days he sees it, some days he doesn't. His doubts run deep, and he won't budge until the results prove it. The back and forth continues, but at this point, everyone just wants the DNA truth.
To the court, some photos.
Right.
And this is a picture of Zanaya, and then a picture of Mr. Moore as a child. Do you see a resemblance?
Before delivering results, Judge Lake rules on Moore's countersuit. He presented a repair receipt for the busted window, and since Matthews admitted in open court she destroyed it, Judge Lake orders her to pay him $285. Matthews rolls her eyes, but the ruling is clear. Anger is no excuse to destroy property. With that settled, Judge Lake grabs the envelope. The moment we've all been waiting for finally arrives.
$285 for the broken window. Do you have any receipts?
You know what, Your Honor, I do have receipts.
May I please see those, Jerome?
Invoice.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So this is a receipt from a car repair shop for $285.
Yep.
Jerome hands the results over, and Judge Lake reads them aloud. In the case of 3-year-old Zaya, the DNA proves Mr. Moore is not the father. The courtroom gasps. Moore throws up his hands, shouting, "That's what I'm talking about. I'm done." Matthews tries to brush it off, saying she isn't shocked. She insists her baby will be fine, with or without him. The emotional whiplash in the room is insane.
In the case of Matthews v. Moore pertaining to 3-year-old Zanaya, Mr. Moore, you are not her father.
That's what I'm talking about.
The episode closes with Judge Lake expressing deep disappointment. She reminds Matthews that she swore there were no other possible fathers, but clearly, she knows more than she admitted. She stresses that Zaya deserves the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. Moore leaves relieved, ready to move on with his life, while Matthews is left facing the reality of raising her daughter alone and finding the real father. Heartbreaking stuff.
There could be another potential father, and you said no. Whether you're willing to admit it in open court today, something in me is telling me that you know who this person is, and maybe when you get in the quiet of your own space, you'll be able to say, now self,